This is TWiT.
Here's one thing I'm a little mad about. Elon is calling himself the chief twit now, which is not true. Not true.
There is only one.
There can be but one.
Twit.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sue him.
You know, we already been through this with Twitter. That's the thing that's kind of irksome. I'm sure somebody with any memory of history or something is going to come down the hall and says, Elon, Lisa suggested he take the W out. That's fine with me. Or, there's lots of ways you could fix it. Change the I to an A, but you can't be chief twit, Elon. We've already been over this. Let me just say it that way. We've already been over this, Elon.
Unless you'd like to buy.
He could buy us, and then he'd own the name. I own the trademark. You want the name, you can have it. I don't know. Can you trademark a handle? I'm sure he's already got the business cards printed,
Yeah.
What do you think of Elon owning Twitter, Rabble? Is this... you must still have friends who work there, right?
Sure, of course I have friends that work there, and I use Twitter all the time, and I care about it a lot. What do I think about it?
You have the same reaction we all do. I don't know what to say.
I have mixed feelings. So one, I think he has lots of terrible ideas. And I think he, having worked with people who worked directly with him, can be quite toxic and difficult, and that sucks. On the other hand, the past companies that he's bought, like Tesla and SpaceX and Solar City, and really PayPal too, because he was just the money guy for PayPal, have become successful companies, and have done lots of good in the world. We have a Starlink internet connection at my cabin in California, and it's amazing. And so before Elon bought Twitter, which now seems like it's a thing, Twitter was dependent on the market and was always at risk of the management team being removed if they didn't do what a set of investors said. Jack said this in some of the text messages he had to Elon. He only had a few percentage of the company. There's no super voting shares in Twitter. And so Twitter was restricted. This was, I had a conversation with Jack right after Trump got elected, and he said, what should I do about Trump's account? And these other alt-right folks like Richard Spencer, should I delete the accounts? And he had lots of conversations with people about this. And my answer was, if Jack, as CEO with almost no shares in the company, goes and deletes Trump's account, then he's going to get removed as CEO. And so we all said, well, Jack, why the hell don't you just do this thing? He's clearly violating the rules. But the market held sway over it. And Elon buying Twitter means that Twitter is no longer dependent on the whims of the market and groups like Silver Lake, who are going to come in and do much worse. His ideas about how moderation should happen are crazy. We have no idea if they'll implement his ideas. His ideas about some of the open network stuff are good and interesting. Ironically enough, for something like the Blue Sky Project, he, in theory, I don't know if he's even fully aware of it, should be a big advocate for it. And so I think that ideologically, a lot of Twitter employees aren't going to like working for him. They aren't going to like the political decisions that he's going to make. Twitter employees believe deeply in Jack and where he was coming from, and were very loyal to him. So there's not going to be that loyalty. So Twitter's going to lose a lot of employees. And we'll see. I don't know that it is necessarily the worst thing that could happen. I think Silver Lake coming in and sort of splitting it up and selling off the parts, or gutting the management team would have been worse.
Yeah.
So I don't like his investors.
It's the most
I don't like
optimistic
the way he does
take I've
business,
heard.
but the other options were rough.
Yeah.
And you think one of them was inevitable just because of Twitter's faltering financials? Fortunes. That's a good way to put it.
Twitter's never been a good business.
Yeah.
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 Twitter's always been much more important to its users and to society and the news and culture than it has been in terms of making money. And, you know, I'm a technologist, so I don't know exactly why, but, you know, Instagram makes tons of money because the ads don't need to be witty tweets. Like Twitter makes you like, you have to be good at Twitter to run ads. And if you're good at Twitter, why are you running an ad?
Right.
You don't have to be good at Instagram to run a good ad.
Well, that's a really good point. I never really thought of that. I think this all underscores the fact that Twitter should really be a public institution, not a private business. It's not a good business, but it's a great town square. And and obviously, you know, no one person should own the town square, even Elon. So maybe this solution is really something like Scuttlebutt and Planetary and something decentralized, something no one owns, something.
Was that a discussion way back then? Was enough known in our innocent early days to say maybe there shouldn't be a company, maybe there should be something else, or maybe the API is a moral choice, or was it just too early and too naive and too innocent back then?
No, there was a debate back then because I remember Jack saying that Twitter should be a public utility.
Yeah.
Like in the early days of Twitter, he went around and told anyone who would ask, Twitter should be a public utility. And other people are like, Jack, stop saying that. We won't get investments. You know, the rumors are that, like, because Twitter had acquisition talks with Facebook and Yahoo and Google and Microsoft, everyone. The rumors are like that Jack's enthusiasm for Twitter as a public utility scared away all these people who are acquiring it. Now, Ev says he wasn't going to ever sell Twitter anyway, but like, you know, Jack always thought it was a public utility and always kind of treated it that way, but we had no model for funding it that way. And, you know, there's a Twitter account called, you know, @BuyTwitter, which is a collection of people who are trying to make users collect the money to buy Twitter. And, you know,
good luck.
got promises of a few $1 million. It's, you know, not close to it.
And try to collect.
There's a whole concept called platform co-ops, which says that, you know, these giant platform businesses, whether or not it's Airbnb or Twitter, should be owned in part by the participants of it. And so, you know, the Buy Twitter project is cool. It's not, you know, they never worked, but it's a neat idea, and the platform co-ops are a neat idea. The problem is, like, where do you get the capital to build these things? And where do you get the capital to take the risks? You know, we talked about Jaiku and Pounce and Gowalla and all these other, you know, Technorati, all these other companies that had just as much promise as Odeo and Twitter in the early days, and they're all gone.
Yep.
So, you know, venture capital is set up to take that risk, and you take the venture, you know, but that's, you know, the plus and minus of it. The real tragedy is that we didn't know about the super voting shares that, you know, got set up with Facebook.
Right.
If Ev had known about the super voting shares and realized how important it was and been able to raise money that way and demand it and be able to get through, then this whole conversation would be different.
Interesting. So that's what Zuck did, and that's how he's kept control of Facebook. You think Ev Williams would have been the right guy to keep control of Twitter, that he would have done a good job had he been able to ignore market forces and have those super voting shares?
I don't know. Ev's really hard to work for.
The board at Twitter is notoriously awful, right? I mean, that's what everybody says.
Well, and the board has got all these people who
They don't even use Twitter. Yeah.
Right.
Or not publicly. Maybe they use Twitter in secret accounts. Like I have half a dozen Twitter accounts that I use for different purposes. But like the board should be people, yes.
Nor do they have much Twitter stock. They don't have much. They don't have much of a dog in the hunt. I think Jack has had the largest share of Twitter stock, and it was only like 2%.
Yeah, but there was a time when the board was better. Like Fred Wilson was a fantastic board member.
Yeah.
Yes.
And really got it. And I don't know the inside baseball of when he chose to walk away, but Fred signed off on Twitter being federated. He said, make that experiment, see what happens.
That's very Fred.
And yep.
Well, we'll find out. The fact that Elon's wandering around Twitter untethered indicates not that he's succeeded in closing the deal, but that they're very close. He has till Friday before the Chancery Court in Delaware picks up the trial once again. That's the deadline. So I suspect maybe this time he will own it, which is may you live in interesting times. We definitely,
Yes,
we definitely do. And I'm always impressed. We talk all the time with Kevin Marks and about the open web and indie web, and Cory Doctorow, who years ago told me the solution to all this is for the geeks to stand up, write their own stuff, do their own thing. We know how it should be. Don't let these big money guys run everything. And you haven't taken any investment in Planetary?
So I've taken a bit of investment. I did a $1.4 million pre-seed round led by Bloomberg Beta, who are, as a VC, very supportive of, open source projects. They've been fantastic. And also gotten support from a number of other sort of very early stage VCs. I don't know if they're investing because they think that Planetary will be successful and make money, or they just want to throw rocks at Facebook's glass house, or
they're playing 3D chess with you. I'm surprised that you're taking money. I guess you have to. But don't you worry about the same thing happening to you that happened to Twitter?
Sure, except I have super voting shares.
Lesson learned. I get it.
But a bunch of time has passed. Now, super voting shares among founders for these type of companies is commonplace, and they understand why it's important.
Right. Good.
Don't miss All About Android every week. We talk about the latest news, hardware, apps, and now all the developer-y goodness happening in the Android ecosystem. I'm Jason Howell, also joined by Ron Richards, Florence Ion, and our newest co-host on the panel, Wen Tu Dao, who brings her developer chops. Really great stuff. We also invite people from all over the Android ecosystem to talk about this mobile platform we love so much. Join us every Tuesday, All About Android on TWiT.tv.